Have you ever wondered why your dog listens to their trainer but completely ignores you? It's not because we're special, and it's definitely not because your dog is stubborn or selective of hearing. I hear this all the time. My dog listens to their trainer but doesn't listen to me. And the difference has absolutely nothing to do with the dog. The difference is in follow-through. Now, the truth is that your dog listens to me because when I tell them to do something, when I give them direction, it matters. I am going to make them do it. There is no option for the dog to not do the command. That's the whole concept of follow-through. When you tell your dog to do something, most likely you've taught your dog the exact opposite. You've given your dog direction, you've given your dog a command, and they don't do it, or they're delayed, or you repeat yourself 10 times, and then the dog doesn't do it or doesn't do it to your liking, and nothing changes. And that's exactly why your dog doesn't listen to you the way that they listen to me. The reality is that your dog isn't ignoring you. Your dog is just going off what they know. They want you to give them a task, and then they want you to see it through to the end. If you don't do that, you're just teaching your dog that you aren't going to hold them accountable to anything you say. What you're saying is completely optional. Nothing happens if they don't comply, and that your words really just don't mean all that much. A ton of owners will tell their dog over and over again the same command without doing anything different. They'll tell their dog, buddy, sit, 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 sit. And the dog either doesn't do it, or then they break out the treat and then the dog does it immediately. So what you're teaching your dog is the word doesn't actually mean anything. You're not going to make them do it if they don't do it. You are going to just repeat the command. That's the only thing that's going to happen if they don't listen, or you might even break out the bribe to get them to do what you want. So when the dog actually hears the sit command, nothing really goes off. They don't think, hey, my owner is telling me to do something, I must do this. They just think, they're just hearing you just go off more and more and more. And then you finally grab their attention when you get your bribe out, and that's exactly the opposite of what you're actually trying to teach them. Another example that I see a lot is using recall in the backyard. Your dog's off leash in their backyard, sniffing around, going to the bathroom, etc. And you tell your dog, come. And you might say that over and over again. And then you see your dog looks over to you, notices you make eye contact directly with your dog, and then your dog continues to go on doing whatever they were doing in the beginning. You go off, and then you go and try and grab your dog later, or maybe your dog comes and scratches on the door, letting you know that they're coming in. And think about what the dog learns there. You requested that they came in, and they said, no thanks, I'm not coming in right now, and nothing happened. There was no follow-through on that command. You did not make them come in when you said to come in. You just repeated yourself a bunch and then gave up. Now, why your dog listens to me is I am the exact opposite of that. I tell your dog to do something, and then I follow through if they don't do it. What that means is I will tell the dog a verbal cue one time, whether that's sit, down, place, leave it, drop, come, it doesn't matter. I tell them one time, and I give them the verbal option to do it, right? The verbal cue is do the behavior I'm asking you to do it. If they don't do it, I'm going to either use a hand signal, or I'm going to use the leash, most likely, to enforce the dog into that position. I'm going to make sure that they understand, hey, when I tell you to do something, I'm going to make you do it. I'm not going to beg you. I'm not going to negotiate. I'm not going to repeat myself over and over again. I am literally just going to make you go into that behavior. An example of that would be if I told my dog to place, and my dog goes up to the placemat and then starts sniffing around. I'm just going to use the leash to leash them on, to drag them onto the cot, and then I'm going to release the pressure on the leash. Now, what the dog learns in that moment is that, hey, when my owner says something, or when my trainer says something, I have to do the command, otherwise I'm going to be put into that position. And that's not mean, that's not cruel, that's not harsh, that's literally just backing up what you're saying. That is why your dog listens to your trainer and not you. Trainers will back up what we say because we want the dog to actually listen to us. In most situations, your dog sees there to be 3 outcomes. Number 1, verbal cue. Number 2, verbal cue maybe with follow through. Or number 3, just ignore the command altogether. The difference between a trainer and you, most likely, is that we remove that third option. There is no scenario where I'm going to tell any one of my dogs, my personal dogs, or any of the dogs I work with, to do something and then not see it through to the end. That's the difference. The real issue is that you probably talk to your dog a lot. You give them a lot of direction. You give them a lot of suggestions, but very little of it actually impacts their life. When you tell your dog to do something, if they disregard it, nothing happens. So what you're teaching your dog is that you do talk a lot, but none of it really has any impact on them. So they do learn to tune you out. So when direction and guidance become optional, your dog will stop checking in. They'll tune you out completely. Your obedience will be reliable at best. You're probably going to have to use bribes in order to get your dog to actually comply with anything you're trying to tell them. And then frustration is going to grow on both sides. You're going to be like, well, why do you do this for your trainer and you don't do it for me? And your dog's going to basically, if they could tell you, they would say, hey, he's consistent. You're not. So the cost of all this is, and why does this even matter, is that if you want your dog to actually listen to you where you don't have to repeat yourself over and over again, you do have to follow through on what you say. So if I give a dog any command, what I want to teach owners to is that if you're not in position to enforce the command, then don't use it. If you're not going to follow through on what you say, then don't say it. Now, this is hard for people because it makes them realize how much they do communicate to their dogs verbally without any type of accountability for the dog. So that's the hardest part, is you do have to restructure the way that you are communicating with your dog so that your dog understands that you do follow through on what you say. So if this continues, your commands will lose meaning, your recall will be non-existent, your boundaries will disappear, and most importantly, your trust with your dog is going to disappear as well. Your dog is going to think, hey, this person gives me a lot of information, they stimulate me a lot, but it doesn't really ever impact my actual life. So this is when dogs are going to start controlling their own environments. They're going to start doing whatever they want because they know that they can. They know that you're not going to do anything about it. So what's the point? So how can you approach this and what can you do differently? Something I tell all of my clients is, again, if you're not in the position to enforce the command, then do not give it. If your dog is off leash, you are not in a position to enforce the command. All of this to be said too is that when you're making your dog do this, the point of this is to be calm. You're supposed to give calm guidance, calm leadership. So when I'm bringing my dog back onto the place cot, it's just using the leash to guide them on. It's not grabbing and forcefully throwing them onto the place cot or forcefully putting them into a sit or, anything like that where it's really, really intense. That's not going to help you either. You want to be calm and very intentional with what you're telling your dog. If you tell your dog to do something, make sure that they do it. An important part of this too is if you aren't in the mental position to want to follow through on these type of things, if you just don't have the patience for training that day or anything like that, it's okay to not do that day. It's far more beneficial to stop, know yourself, know if you're in a position to feel like enforcing the things that you're saying. And if you're not, then don't do it. That's going to do far more damage to you and your dog's relationship is if you are getting frustrated or you're not in positions to enforce it, so then they're not doing it. You're just going to ruin your relationship that way and really just make your words meaningless to them. Ultimately, this is a mindset shift. Leadership is not about dominance. It's not about being alpha. It's not about being intense. It's about following through calmly with intention. It really is about being consistent enough with your direction and with your guidance so that your dog doesn't second guess it. So why does your dog listen to your trainer and not you? It's simply because the trainer has shown your dog through consistency, through intention, that their words have meaning. Their words have weight. So if you want to get better with this type of stuff, you just need to be a little bit more intentional with what you're saying. If you are going to tell your dog to do something and they don't comply, make them comply. If you want your dog to listen to you, your words have to actually impact their life in some way. The moment that you start following through with your dog calmly, consistently, and clearly, your dog will start listening to you too. Now, if this hit a nerve, good. That's where change really starts to happen. Subscribe to the channel if you want real, honest dog training without all the fluff. I'm the Big Dog Guy, and I'll see you in the next one.